For the years, we have treated the blast furnace as a black box, pouring in billions and hoping for the best. Today, we flip the switch. The transparent furnace is about combining physics with the hybrid AI so we can see the 2000 degrees centigrade reality inside in real time, not 6 to 8 hours later. Our goal is close the control lag, use the PSPP lens to prevent hard spalling, and deploy a 90-day roadmap that pays back 200% or more. Picture that electric blue wireframe with a neon coral hearth. That's the visibility and we are aiming for. So we stop being blind operator and become architect of campaign life. So coming to the penalty for flying blind is shorter campaign and higher risk. We designed for 15 plus year, but most furnace die at 10 because we react 6 8 hours after the real event. So when 70% of the plant energy sits in one reactor, this delay is not this delay is not we cannot say it is a very casual approach, and it is a very significant, so it's a structural liability. So every cracked hearth and premature reline is the cost of guessing instead of seeing. So to escape this penalty, we must measure what's happening inside, just not infer it from the yesterday tap. So coming to the our next slide, which is regarding a fusing physics and sensors. So to open the box, we saturate the furnace shell with the data. Think 10,000 plus live signals per hour, stiff thermocouples, thermal gradient, radar burden probes, gas data, lab samples fused into one model. So the point is not big data for the slide, it is the high resolution thermodynamic truth. When we align sensor stream with the physics, we shift from the firefighting to steering, seeing how the burden and heart are evolving long before trouble reaches the tap. Here is the real enemy, time. So gas moves in second. Burden and chemistry report in hours. Lab silicon at T plus 8 hour is a late postcard from a raceway event that happened a shift ago. That 3 to 8 hour control gap is where we lose scope, stability, and year of campaign life. Our mission is simple: predict that molten iron orange curve before it bends instead of reacting after it has already hurt the heart. So as you can see in this slide, it's about flow shape. A deep, calm, dead man pool behaves like a green cushion spreading velocity. A shallow pool turns flow into neon coral jet, hammering the corner and carving an elephant foot erosion profile. So data shows that once velocity concentrate there, radial wear accelerate dramatically. If we don't control the deadman depth, we are we are sandblasting our own lining from inside. So the temperature has a cliff. Below a certain hot temperature, erosion is manageable. Push 100 degrees centigrade higher and dissolution of carbon brick explode. A modest rise beyond roughly 1823 Kelvin turns slow wear into a step change in depth loss. In practice, that means we are trading years of lining life for a few hours of easy casting. Those few extra degree feel productive, but structurally they are a point of no return. So as for PSPP in the heart is concerned, PSPP is the process, structure, property, performance, uh, and which turns scattered symptoms into clear story. High thermal and comprehensive stresses at the hot faces create micro crack through the brick thickness. Those crack invite zinc and alkali, which destroy insulating properties and drive cold face falling month later when you finally see pieces falling off outside. The inner process structure damage is already advanced. PSPP lets us intervene when the brick is stressed, not when it is already broken. So the efficiency trajectory for the CFO transparency equal cache when AI generated control flatten, temperature swing, coke rate drop and throughput rises. A realistic path stabilize in 90 days, shave a few percent of coke uses, then keep pushing towards higher, steadier output over 180 days. A flat thermal curve means fewer microcrack, longer hearth life, and smoother production. Stability is not just comfort for the operator, it is the foundation of profit and longevity. So, coming to the next slide, which is about every breakout has a traceable chain and thermal stress to microcrack and microcrack to alkali and zinc penetration, which leads to a brittle layer and consequently which result in a shell failure. So the fishbone might look complex, but almost every branch leads back to uncontrolled thermal stress and erosion in the hard zone. If we control stress and crack initiation early, we don't just reduce breakout risk, we remove its root. The safest furnace is the one that never lets crack grow into canyons. So, as for the operator's need is concerned, a simple visual rule book is shown. So, stay in the green. An operating map highlight a safe window for the hot metal silicon and temperature and mark the destruction zone in red. So, running hotter for a short term fluidity feels tempting, but the map makes the trade-off visible. Each step beyond that line costs months of campaign life. Once teams see this link, they stop treating limits as suggestions and start treating them as hard asset boundaries. Coming to the web of influence, AI exposes the hidden wiring behind the furnace. Correlation map shows, for example, that deeper deadman depth strongly reduces erosion or that hotter metal strongly increases brick stress. So values like 0.9 for the depth versus wear and plus zero point 0.8 for the temperature versus stress are not opinions, they are fingerprints. Once you see this web, you stop tweaking one knob at a time and start managing interacting levers, deadman, oxygen, slag, temperature as a connected system. So coming to the hybrid digital twins. So pure physics models are accurate but too slow. Pure ML is fast but can unsafe. It can bring a lot of unsafe state. A hybrid twin locks neural network inside a physics cage. The result is a real-time virtual furnace that obey conservation law while updating in milliseconds. So it can predict hot metal quality, hearth state and safe set points continuously, giving operators guidance that is both quick and physically trustworthy. Coming to the predictive casting visions at the cast house. Vision AI watches every tap. Thermal cameras and object detection track iron and slag separation, flow quality, drainage in real time. So accurate recognition of the slag onset and tap duration let us avoid shallow pools and poor drainage that damage the hearth. When the vision system and the hearth model agree, we close the loop. Tap decisions directly protect the deadman depth and the erosion profile. So coming to the value of transparency, when the furnace becomes transparent, the number changes quickly. Plant report multi-million dollar cook saving, big cuts in the unplanned stoppages, and a strong double to triple digit ROI in the first year, reducing thermal shock also sketches campaign life, multiplying that return over a decade. At that point, the furnace is no longer a mysterious risk, it is a predictable financial engine. So the 90-day turn on, this shift doesn't require years. In the first 30 days, we fuse and clean sensor data. By 60 days, we are predicting hot metal temperature and silicon with useful accuracy. By 90 days, we close the loop and let the hybrid twin trim, cook and stabilize heat in the real time. The message to leadership is clear. The era of the black box is over, and in 1 quarter, you can turn the furnace from guesswork into guided flight.